Don't get hooked up into the being too Hooah. Don't get hooked. Don't be like Keith Caraway. I got the rank, I got the cars, I got the money, I got the girls and all other shit. But I trade all that shit away for my real family. Right? Don't go to the finish line without your family. I went to the finish line without my family. And the guy who I did his retirement, he didn't have the rank that I retired with. He didn't have, stuff, resources, but he had his family. And they were all on the front row clapping and happy.
It's a big deal.
And he finished with his family.
We are The David Johnson Show, bringing the veteran community stories and perspectives so you can design the life that you deserve.
Strong like a tree, there's roots where I stand.
Today we have Keith Caraway from Washington, D.C. Welcome, Keith.
Well, thank you for having me, and thank you for being you.
Well,
I really appreciate this platform that you have and what you're doing for people, and I feel like this is going to reach people that definitely could benefit from hearing this information. So thank you.
Well, thank you. You have we're not going to go into it in depth, but you have a very successful, and I know you're going to be humble right now and say something crazy, but you have a very successful 20-year career in the Army, 13 years in regiment, joined pre-9/11, got out, 4 years ago, was it?
No, I got out in July.
Just now. Huh?
Oh yeah, I'm a noob. You're putting too much on it. It was like perfect attendance. You stay there 20 years and you get to stop. So I got it. You did cool stuff. We all did cool stuff, but this isn't about that, really.
Well, let me tell you, when I put that thing on Facebook about 60 days ago, a title for a show, and you responded within an hour, the cost of being Hooah.
The cost of being Hooah.
That's the cost.
Yes. It's a high tariff. It ain't free.
It's not free at all.
It's not free.
Wow.
And when you realize how much Hooah costs, and then you realize what Hooah is, can we break Hooah down?
Break it down. I Googled it once.
What is it?
Well, you Google what does Hooah mean, and you'll get every YouTube video in the world, and everybody trying to explain it from a pure like a Webster dictionary definition version. We're not here to be a Webster dictionary definition.
But I can tell you. Remember that first day. You show up to reception, and you don't know who is who, what is what, and everybody has that fear in their mind, like, oh hell, I chose poorly. I'm not supposed to be here. This whole Army thing. You hear things in the background, like cadence, and you hear people say,
Hooah.
Hooah. And you're fascinated because that language, that jargon is them, and you want to be that, right? So when you hear that Hooah, and you see why they say it. The first time I heard it, there was somebody like doing push-ups, and the drill sergeant walked by. He said, "You see that, y'all? You see that? That's Hooah." And I was like, "Ooh, this Hooah thing. This Hooah thing is good. I want that. It's like crack. Give me some Hooah,
Give me some Hooah. Give me some Hooah.
Give me some Hooah.
You just want to be a part of it.
Oh, you do.
You don't know what it means yet.
And it's never for you. It's not for you yet. It takes maybe a day or so or a couple of weeks before you even find out what that means or why they say it and why they keep making you say it. Because everybody heard what I said, right?
Hooah.
Right. So I think that's where it kind of starts. You want to make sure that you're in the number, you're in the game. And so you want to be Hooah.
And so it draws you in without even knowing what it means yet.
Right.
And you first start saying it as like an answer to a question.
Yeah, right. It's a noun. It's a person, place, or thing.
Right.
All right.
But then you start basic. You're out of reception.
And
now you're starting basic. You're
right.
on week 1, week 2, week 3. You're getting a vague, loose understanding of what this means.
And the fastest guy.
Now,
right?
He's
Hooah. He's real Hooah.
The fastest runner.
Everything to the max. Hooah. But how many pull-ups? Hooah. Everything is Hooah.
Give me 2. First guy that raises his hand.
Yeah, I want some volunteers. That's Hooah, right? So what happens is you kind of train your body to put up with some pain that you otherwise wouldn't put up with because you have this man crush on your drill sergeant. You want to impress him, right? You do. You have this man crush, and he's like, I want to be Hooah, please say Hooah to me, it's true.
And that's step two.
Yeah, that's step
now
two.
you're starting to you want to impress somebody.
Yes.
And you know that Hooah mean if you could say Hooah, I impressed you.
You're right.
Right.
Yeah. So you do it. And that's when you first learn that maybe I should have did 70 push-ups, but now you're doing 74 and your muscles in your shoulders are getting tore up.
Oh.
And we encourage it because you want to max out, right? Because that's Hooah.
That's Hooah.
Yeah.
But then it flips up. Now you graduate.
Yeah.
Now you're in your first duty station.
Sure.
And you're still saying it.
You're still saying it, but it has a different connotation. Like you don't want to, it's not for simple things anymore. The ante gets upped.
The ante gets up.
Yeah, they up the ante.
It's no longer just can you run a 13?
No. Can you
run
stay
a
late?
14?
Can you stay? You know I need you, right?
Yeah.
That's Hooah.
Can you stay late?
Yeah, you got me, right?
That's Hooah.
Yeah, that's Hooah. And then other things, too. I need volunteers. You're going to be the Easter Bunny for Easter.
Yeah.
Hooah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So your Hooah 20-year career. So tell me this. Break it down. You joined pre 9/11.
I did. I was just a job turkey that couldn't cut into college, man.
We went to high school together.
Yeah, we did.
went,
Shout them out. Fighting Matadors, right?
Yeah. You graduated a year before me.
Yep.
You were the football player. I was hanging out in the corner with the non-cool
No,
kids. You were the cool
did
kid.
you play football, too?
No, not at all.
No?
That would not have been a good day for anybody. So you joined pre 9/11, 1999, right out of high school.
Yeah, right out of high school.
And where was your first duty station?
Germany.
That's cool.
Oh, man. Germany was a party. I almost lost my mind.
You went too much Hooah.
Oh, way too much oil. Yeah, you talk about shenanigans, and you can drink there when you're 16,
Oh, jeez.
and I was 18.
There you go.
Tried to burn the place down.
So what happened after? So what happened during 9/11 out there?
So 9/11 was a crazy day. I was actually shipping a car home, and like I told you yesterday, I forgot my ID. I forgot my ID. And my Gore-Tex Gore-Tex is, for those who don't know what a Gore-Tex is, a Gore-Tex is a jacket that they give you that's made out of Gore-Tex. True story. But I left it on my chair when I went to go ship my car. And when I did that, I showed up to ship my car with no ID. So they had to fax it to me. I'm sure my age was 99. They had to fax it to me, and I shipped a car with no ID.
From Germany back to the States.
Yeah, to Charleston.
Were you PCSing?
I was. I did my 2 years. So it's 9/11, so it's 2001. And I had been there since 99, December.
Nice.
So I go back, and the post is locked down. And I'm like, But you still don't know yet, because it's about 5 o'clock in Germany, and it's about 9 o'clock back in the States. And you just can't fathom not a 9/11 type of scenario, so everybody's blowing it off. Like, I'm not paying attention. All I know is I'm, locked out of post. And then,
Interesting.
yeah, super tragic. Super tragic. And the biggest tragedy of it is by the time I got back to the States in December, nobody gave a shit. Like, everybody's back to flipping each other off.
You didn't get any.
I got no love, man.
Patriotism.
Absolutely no love. No patriotism at all. It was crazy.
So tell me about early on, first couple years, you're being Hooah. You want to be this high speed. Did you have a drive? Did you have a calling to it, a connection to it?
Yeah.
You kind of want to be Hooah.
Well, you don't want to fail. And you immediately come into a category where you're in that A group. So the Army does a great job, for folks who don't know, of breaking people down into ability groups. And they call them ability groups, A, B, C. Everybody wants to be in an A group. Everybody wants to be Hooah. Everybody wants to be the cream of the crop. And what happens is we're young. We're 18. We're always the people who were generally athletes tend to do well. And I was in Germany. It's not like I was in a cool unit. So it was very easy to rise because the bar wasn't that high. You're right.
The standard a little low.
Yeah.
So tell me when you got into the cool units and the deployment started to kick off.
Oh man, we got to go there.
We've all been there.
Yeah. So here's the cool thing. After I left Germany, I went recruiting.
Recruiting duty?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, the Army had a program called the Corporal Recruiting Program, which they shut down. I was like literally the only successful recruiter. And after you were done with the recruiting program, they gave you guaranteed station of choice. And so in the process of that, I found out about the 160th. Shout out to the Night Stalkers, right? And the lady was like, the success rate is,
Low.
like 41%, And I was like, but it says if I do recruiting, I get guaranteed station in a pinpoint assignment. And then she was like, well, they're swimming. And I was like, hey, I can't, I'm black and I can swim. I take care of my kids too, you job turkey. So anyway, but the thing is they thought that, hey, black guy can't swim. So it did eliminate a lot of people like later on when I got there. Yeah. Oh man, it was like all my black buddies. It was swimming day, got us, bad day, bad luck. You talk about it. We own that stereotype over there, man. It was
we own that stereotype.
It was us, and then there was me. Yeah, and I almost didn't make it either. It was the first time I had swam with equipment on, and you know how you do the the 10-foot drop,
yeah,
and then you swim to the next instructor, and then you do the treading, and I was about to quit, and I put my head back, and I was like, "Fuck."
Get your head in the game.
But when I did that, my head floated. And the guy said, time. And I was like, I made it, yes. Yeah, here we are.
So Hooah has a whole new meaning in that community.
Oh, yeah. You're not allowed to say it.
Well, you don't say it.
You're not allowed to say it.
But you act it.
You act it. Hooah to the max.
Now you just got to live it.
Yes.
And living it in this era now means, part of what it means is just deployment after deployment after deployment.
Ooh, let's touch on that. So there is Hooah turns into like the new Bronze Star, right? So we secretly don't say because it's so taboo. We don't do it for the glory and the grits and all that other stuff. But what happens is at some point you start looking at people's chests, right? And you see ribbons. Remember?
Yeah.
You get it and you're like, oh my God, look at that guy. He has all the ribbons. Where did you go? And you want to start going all these places because that guy has it and he's cool, right?
A patch on your right shoulder.
Patch in your right, because you ain't shit if you ain't got no deployment patch. I don't give a damn who you are. I don't care what you are. If you didn't do it there, then screw you, buddy.
Yeah. That was the culture. That was part of the culture shift. It started to change like that.
Yeah. And then you just couldn't go once.
Right. Well,
yeah. Oh, let me see your sleeve now. Let me see your tick marks.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we all get caught in that. And you know what happens around that time?
What's that?
You start getting old and you start doing old things like having kids. Right? So at that point, it's, soft. You generally get to pick your poison. You can deploy all the time and be like, man, or you can get after it and get to the teams that they're on it. They're the people that are called.
And even the ones that you're not deploying all the time, you're still deploying at high frequency.
Correct.
I mean, you're gone, you're back, you're gone, you're back.
Right.
And did you have kids during that time?
Yeah, sure. I did have kids then.
Dare I say, thank the heavens I did not have kids during that time.
And I remember making a conscious decision where I could have said, no, I'm going to stay home and be with my children. And I was like,
that's not the culture.
Let's back it up, boys. I'm in.
It's the culture to do those multiple deployments.
And you know what they said?
What's that?
Hooah.
That's Hooah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. And you're living. You got to live it. You got to live it up to it. Live up to it.
But we used to have a slogan that they say in the regiment: "Night Stalkers don't quit." Right. And the homage that comes with that. I mean, I'm not saying emotional, but just knowing the brothers and sisters that gave their lives in the cause of special operations, you don't want to quit because you're living for their legacy because they're not here.
Right.
Right. So that's why when I'm asked all the time, do I have any regrets? I don't, because of them. I can be the asshole sitting right here still talking about how bad or good my life was, but you can still feel, touch, taste me. These cats have given their lives for the cause.
So speaking of that, tell me, these multiple deployments, they catch up to you.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, you do one. I did one, 2003.
Okay.
It's fun. It's kind of fun the first time. There's some excitement to it.
Yeah, sure.
Then you come back.
Yeah.
Then you go to number 2.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, I got to leave again. Then you come back. Then you got to go to number 3 or whatever. I mean, so tell me how it catches up to you. I mean,
It catches up with you in a good way, though.
How
now
so?
you're in the game. So it's not that you're in special operations anymore. It's you were special operations and you were operational. You know the players in the field now. They know you. You go in a air mission brief and you see all the customers, and the customers who we respect know you by name. They're happy when they see you roll off the rotator. So you're clanging and banging, and it's addictive.
It is
like
addictive.
You feel like I'm in the
You
club
know what?
now.
That's a good way to put it. It is addictive.
It's addictive, man.
You're addicted to the adrenaline.
Yeah.
You're addicted to
Sure.
being with the guys next to you.
Yeah.
It is addictive.
And the customers, they're happy to see you because they know.
So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Do you think this level of addiction is doing something to you that you don't know yet until you slow down? Until maybe I'm not going to say retire, but does it catch up to you at some point in time?
Oh yeah, everything catches up to you.
Right.
Yeah, there's a price to pay for everything.
It's the cost of being Hooah.
Yeah, well, it's the cost of being Hooah because it's an adrenaline that you love knowing that this is it and we are it, and then you are who you are, and help isn't coming, and you only feel full when you're there. I hear a lot of buddies say like, "Oh man, I can't wait till we go back on deployment."
Right.
You feel like you've earned your money. They got it out of you. The staying up till everybody's back. Everything. It's just, it feels so good to be in it. Like, this is America. We're literally, that's what they're talking about. When they're talking about deployed people, they're talking about us. They're talking about you.
It's the culture.
It's the culture.
And you're fitting this culture.
Yeah, man.
You're living up to it.
Yes. And BT dubs, that's all we know. You start looking at guys like me, you're 18 years old, and now you're 25, 26 years old. You've been in the game 7, 8 years.
Yeah.
That's all you know.
That is all you know.
Literally.
Yeah.
And what do you get more? You get more. and it's always more. Always more.
It was like a lifestyle centered around deployments almost for many, many years.
Oh, yeah. I
Many
spent my
years.
20s in Afghanistan.
Wow.
Yeah. My whole 20s.
Wow.
And I was an idiot. Like, you couldn't send me enough. I love the money. And then they start doing the tax-free dumps. Oh,
Did you
man.
re-enlist over there at any time?
Oh, yes, I did.
You gotta do that. Go on.
Yeah. I remember coming. Shit. 24,100. But I remember being 27 years old with like, I looked at my bank account and I had 28.8. Now I was 26.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
What did your parents think of you deploying all those times?
They said, "Give me my money." I think I had to give my dad like $5,000 or something.
Pay me. The loan's over.
Oh man, he lent me some money one time, and I didn't tell him because
Pay me.
it's soft, so you don't tell like when you're leaving, whatever. And my dad had loaned me some money once, and man, I checked my answer machine. He had 78 messages, and they raged.
You checked my answering machine.
It was like, "Hey man, we really need to talk about this money you borrowed each other." "Hey motherfucker, give me my money, man. I'm not playing with you, man. I will come see you." Like seriously, it was like a progression of.
At least he can't come see you face to face in Afghanistan. That'd be a little bit hard.
Yeah, come get your money, man.
Yeah. They worried about you. Your mom worried about you?
Yeah, I feel bad about that piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
That's tough.
Because they're always assuming the worst. And then,
Of course.
you know how we used to get mortar all the time?
All the time.
And I'd be on the phone with your mom and you hear kaboom. And what was that? Yeah, no, it was nothing. It was
Steve
nothing.
dropped the pots.
Yeah.
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 So tell me about guys that you served with that had families and also did this. I mean, guys, it took a toll on some people. Some people can handle it better than others.
We used to joke like, "You're still on his first wife." Like, yeah. Or I knew Sam when he had.
He's going to go DX his second wife with a PX.
How long you know Sam? Like two wives ago, Yeah.
That's part of the cost.
Yeah, and hell, I'm divorced.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's my fault. Yeah,
How so?
I 100% chose the Army over my family, and happily. Not, and it sounds fucked up, but I remember we could take that family vacation. Oh, but I'm only 175 days away from my next BSM, and I'm just like, cash those chips in, and eventually, somebody's gonna keep your wife company.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, you ain't even have to worry about going home.
Is that how that went down?
Oh man.
Uh-oh. We won't go there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you know.
But that's the cost.
Yeah, that's the cost.
That's the cost of family life.
Because we get so wrapped into.
Well, especially in the soft community. I mean, military
sure.
in general, but soft community, divorce rate's very high.
Yeah. And what do we generally get hot chicks. Yeah. We're not the only people that want these girls, you know? Yeah.
Wow.
If you leave one unattended if you want to.
Yeah.
Hey. You know, if I was your man, I'd never leave you.
Did you ever think about staying in past 20?
Hell no.
That was it.
Look, the Army and me, you know, have always had a love-hate relationship.
I knew you were going to say that.
Basically, they love to hate me. And
They love to hate
oh man, every
Well,
step.
you don't last 13 years in the unit you did if you were a shitbag, be honest.
No, they got their money out of me, and I
you
made
did
sure
your
that
job.
I added value. Right, I did make sure that I had value, and not only that is developing leaders. Everyone that was on my team was successful. Now, and they hated me for it, but the guys I had ruled with an iron fist, and it's a character flaw now, because now that I'm out, and I thought that you had to still rule with an iron fist. Hell no. That's why my first gig when I got out didn't work out, because I was ruling with the iron fist. Hell no, it takes a committee, and my employees get a vote. Yeah.
Civilian world.
Oh
now.
yeah, I'm in the civilian world, and I'm gonna like go do it, and people are like, you're only in charge of what we let you be in charge of.
So we'll get to that because I want to hear your thoughts on leadership when you got out, because you've held some positions with pretty big companies since you've been out. So
Sure,
I want to hear
sure.
about that. So,
Yeah.
so back to the leadership when you were in,
Yeah.
between the SOF and the other units you were in. What's the difference, kind of the mindset there?
There is a mentality, and because it's true. I've been in scenarios where the president has been on the phone briefing people within the group that mission's going to happen. And if you fail, this is America's failing on TV. Some of the highest targets that the world has was executed by some people that I personally know. And if you fail, we fail.
It's a big deal.
Yeah. And however, if you win, you shut up. Yeah.
Right. There's no spotlight for the winners.
There is no spotlight.
Yeah.
You score a touchdown and you hand the ref the ball and act like you've been there before. Right? Well, that's how we do it. I don't know. There's some units that want to write books and do movies and all that other crazy stuff.
We won't bring that up right now.
Yeah, we won't. But
Yeah. Quiet professionals.
Yeah.
So
As we do media, but
yeah.
yeah.
So when you get out of the regiment, went back to Mother Army. How was that? That had been a culture shock. Now you're saying Hooah again.
Oh,
You're saying Hooah again.
Hooah's never stopped. This is the Hooah monster. It's the Gatorade of Hooah.
They look up to you?
Well, they do, but they also don't. So the troops do. The leaders don't.
Interesting.
The leaders feel like you've been highly resourced all your life, and you really wouldn't know how to succeed if you didn't have those resources.
Interesting.
So those are the people that I had to prove wrong. And you damn right I did. But it was hard. It almost broke me. Everything that I was prideful of that I didn't have to do. Oh, I didn't have to go to the National Training Center. Oh, I didn't have to, never rode a bus to XYZ or, no, I got all of that.
That's a big culture shock.
Yeah. It almost broke me.
I can imagine.
But shout out to 4-6 Cab and everybody in 16 Cab. Yeah. They made me earn my pay on the regular.
And you were what, E7, E8 at that time?
I was E8. I popped over to get a diamond to do some first sergeant
Did
time.
you? You got it?
Yeah, I did.
Good for you.
Alpha Troop, Razorbacks.
First sergeant.
Yeah,
First sergeant Caraway.
yeah.
Well, and I mean, for those listening, describe the leadership position of a first sergeant. Like, what are you commanding? And I don't know if commanding is the right word, but what are you leading?
So you're
like that?
co-commanding, really.
Yeah.
Like you have a command team, which is your captain, and as a first sergeant, you're essentially in charge of everyone's well-being. If I pride myself on the fact that I took 54 troops to Syria. I can say that now. It doesn't matter. I took 54 troops.
Edit that.
Yeah, I took 54 troops to Syria, and I brought back 57. I actually gained more people than I took.
You took 54 troops to Syria.
And came back with 57.
That's a big deal.
And I did not lose a soldier while I was first sergeant. And I'm happy about that.
Of course, that's a big deal.
And
something to be proud of.
My commander was awesome.
See why I tell you he's humble? See
Yeah.
now he gets talking. See why he did what he did?
No, my commander is the reason. She gave me the fortitude. And she is the baddest troop I've ever served with.
Wow.
Yeah.
She gave you the leeway, the freedom,
Yeah.
because she trusted you.
But the coolest person, she's probably popped more people than smallpox. And seriously, she went Winchester one night. She's a Apache pilot. Hey, kid, let's go get some breakfast.
Oh, wow.
I was like, all right, cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
She'd run through all her guns.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, man. She was a stud. Yeah.
So what did the first sergeant do to make his troops Hooah? What was that mindset?
They had to want it. I broke them down to truth. And a lot of first sergeants feel like you got to yell at people. No. I want your buy-in. Now, I'm not going to sit there and kiss your ass and baby you, but I do want you to understand the mission, and that's what we failed as leaders, to tell troops why you're here. Mm-hmm. What are you doing here? Oh, I'm here because I'm deployed. No. You're here because from the Topka Dam to wherever is under attack by the damn ISIS. And if they kill you or catch you, they will cut your head off and put it on YouTube. So we're here so that from here to there stays there so we can get troops and the supplies and shit in to stay alive. That's why we're here.
That's why your mission is important.
Yes.
That's what we're doing here.
So that's why you need to fuel up them damn helicopters so your boss can go out there and kill people and we keep the maintenance and you understand your slice of the pie. And then we all eat together.
Buy-in.
Yeah. And then they know why that they're not just fueling up a helicopter just because I told them to. They're doing it so we can keep kicking ass.
And you think people, you think in the military, people would know that, but that's not always true. You think they'd have that buy-in. I know why I'm here. I know my purpose, but that's not always.
Nobody knows why they're there. I would say if you go up to 10 troops and ask them why they're here, oh no, Sergeant told me to.
Sergeant told me to.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And they brought back the Hooah word. Now everything is Hooah because unlike soft, they Hooah themselves to death. And there's a problem with that. Because now the Hooah progresses to a point where people are taking unnecessary risks. Yeah, like not taking the knee when they're hurt.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or with even behavioral health issues that
I was just going to go there.
Yeah, I've had to literally help troops deal with it with personal stories like, hey, how about we go to behavioral health together? Yes, first sergeant goes too.
I'm walking you.
Yeah, and my appointment's right after yours. You're not just here by yourself.
Wow.
And I broke a lot of that stigma.
Wow.
Because people know me.
So that's actually a good segue. I told you my story, man. I did 6 years and got out. So when I see guys like you that did 20 with probably quadruple more deployments than me, I look up to guys like you. I served 2000 to 2006, got out, started my entrepreneurial career.
And I envy you for that.
Well, that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
But
I think you did all right.
Well, we're getting it off the ground.
Right.
We're getting it off the ground.
Yeah.
Business has been good, but the Army I got out in 2006, right? I think the whole transition program now is different. I think the whole focus on when I got out, mental health wasn't a word.
No.
When you got out in 2006, I did my entire out processing in 2 days. I think like a day and a half. To be candid, I fudged some shit. I checked the box. I didn't even go to half the stuff. Sure. I'm out of the Army. So how has that changed is the Army starting? We say Army, but we mean the military.
Right.
But so is the Army starting to realize, when did it start to realize, should I say, that we have to pay attention to this mental health stuff? Because that was not a thing when I was in.
Well, it was a two-pronged thing. First, soldiers just started killing people. Yeah, soldiers were on the news. Domestic violence was a thing. People found themselves in ADAPSI, the alcohol programs, and when they started doing these surveys and started finding out, it was like because of your deployments, because of this, and it was like direct correlations. Like, hey, so you got a DUI yesterday. When's the last time you come back from deployment? Thursday. So you got a DUI or you beat your lady. How come? She was cheating on me. When'd you come back from the deployment? This morning. I mean, they started finding out, like, okay, we might want to address things. Second, about opportunities when you get out. In 2013, people forget we had this thing called sequestration. That's where when Obama was basically like, hey, man, if you guys don't pass a budget, I'm cutting 10%, just a non-denominational cut. And they were in a gridlock, and it happened. 10% of everything you knew.
Force just slash.
Right. And so what happened was 10% of all the captains got out.
Now tell me, was it all? Was it all?
It
how
was
did it break it down?
indiscriminate. Well, if you did fucked up shit and you got a bad eval, you were self-nominated. But sometimes it was just the least of the 10. There were some good people that got out.
Wow.
And what happened? So you had all these people getting pushed out into the civilian world with degrees. So they started like the Hire Hero programs. And shout out to a guy named Robert Comer, because he's up at JBLM, Fort Lewis, Washington, and he actually puts troops to viable businesses and gets them jobs.
Wow.
Yes.
That's a big deal.
Yes.
See, all that stuff was not around when I got out in 2006. I
It
got
wasn't.
out, Fort Carson, out process, 13-hour drive home. I'm back in Phoenix, Arizona, starting out fresh.
And you know what else they don't tell you?
What's
Is
that?
the Army actually has to pay your unemployment if you can't find a job.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So they came out with that Soldiers for Life Transition Center, SFL TAP.
Wow.
Yeah.
So was that your last position, that first sergeant? Was that your last command?
Yes. Yeah. Then I was an intern.
Oh, that's right. So tell me about, I remember that. Our Army paid you for that.
Yes, they did. So the last 6 months of my career, I teamed up with a corporation, and I was a shadow district manager, and I got to kind of see the ins and outs of how a business works and kind of touching things like the P&L and budgeting and people and even unions and a whole bunch of boring things. But that's actually how the real world works. But the big takeaway I learned from being an intern is it has nothing to do about the Army and everything to do about, are you a good fit for an organization? Can you get along with your fellow coworker? And are you such an asshole that people don't want to be around you? And if the answer is yes to any one of those questions, you're probably not going to be, you'll get a job, but you won't be there long.
You're not going to be at that same position.
Right.
All right, so walk me on this story. You're now out.
Yeah, sure.
You don't forget those 20 years and I don't know how many deployments you did, but you don't forget those. How did you change then? You're out now. What did you take away from the Army, specifically from all those deployments? From a mental standpoint.
From a mental standpoint, it's much easier, right? You're not worried about your life. You know, at any given time while you're deployed, it can happen to you. I remember seeing, remember we had to do sharp training? It came out like around 2008 where...
No, I was out by then. I heard about it.
All right. Well,
Jay was talking about that.
Yeah.
I didn't have to do that.
They had sexual harassment and prevention and rape prevention training.
Yeah,
I remember
went through none of that.
It was 100% required. And I remember 2 soldiers waiting at a bus stop to go take their sharp training because it was 100% required. These kids didn't even have weapons. Boom, dead. There is no battlefield no more. If IDs and all that other stuff that comes over, IDF, boom. And I was thinking, like, what in the hell?
What do you mean dead? Got hit by a bullet? What do you mean?
They got hit by indirect fire.
Oh, you were downrange.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Waiting to do sharp training. You can get killed.
They're doing sharp training downrange?
They went to take these are straight up like fobbits. And I hate to call them fobbits, right? But
Fobbits.
These are people who never left, never did anything, right?
Right.
And because they didn't have enough computers where they were, they had to go to get on the bus to go. So they're literally just sitting.
Oh,
Boom.
that's horrible.
Yeah. So that's war for you. There is no front line. There ain't nobody working. It's wherever you are. If you just so happen to be in the area, it can happen to you.
Ugh.
And look at us, 10 toes, 10 fingers,
Knock on wood.
Yeah.
All right. So wrap this up in the sense of, you know me, man. I'm big on designing your life. I think
Right.
good things come to you. You can't sit back. I see far too many veterans out here in Phoenix that I mentor, that I talk to.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot sit back and just hope, I got a 214. I'm just going to walk myself into a job when I get out or whatever have you. I mean, number one, you got a degree when you were in, right? You went to college?
Oh, yeah.
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 Would you say that's the norm?
Hell no.
Right.
We are so dumb. We are so stupid. We have an opportunity. Tom Smith is the reason why I went to college. He's a highly respected sergeant major, and he basically said, hey, I'm making this. This guy, and you know he's an idiot, he's making this. The only difference between me and him is he has a degree. And I called him up, and I was like, hey, man, look. Yeah. I did it. And then I was an idiot, too. Like, after I found out that it only took 10 classes to get your master's, so I went to Liberty and
So then you went further to get your master's.
Yeah, I went to grad school, too. So
all before you retired.
Oh, in special operations.
Oh, back then, way back then.
Yeah, so it sucked. I remember.
Were you deployed doing classes online? Oh,
yes.
man.
Oh, and then the internet would go out, and I'd be in the middle of a quiz. I mean, it was. I passed some of those classes on God and Grandma's prayers, man.
That's pretty
cool.
cool.
Rough. Or turning in papers, and you know how plagiarism's a big thing, so they usually make you run it through like a plagiarism database, and it seems like my shit would always get stuck when I wanted to turn it in. And it was just, and then I have to be cognizant of the time in the States to turn in my papers too. Oh, shoot me now. Like,
but you did it.
And there was a time I almost quit, and there was a guy named Heath Nemi. He was a full-bird colonel. Told me not to. And that was all I needed. But I was fucking beat, man. I was working in the talk too, and it was, missions drag on. I was like, please, everybody come back, because you can't do your personal stuff to the team's back, right?
Of course.
So I was just, please.
Wow.
And then they finally come back, and then now I got to jam out and try to do my work. But it was a struggle, and it
worked out.
It worked out, and I'm so glad.
So minus the internship, what was the first job you had out of the Army?
Oh, God. I won't bring up this company, but I tell you, I was a ops supervisor for a big company, and quickly promoted to ops manager. Like, I might have been there for 3 weeks. Yeah, they passed all kind of waivers to give me that extra leadership.
Wow.
Yeah, and it blew up in everyone's faces. It did. You can't change a culture by inserting one man and not tell anybody.
It's an uphill battle.
It was, and in real life, the prisoners get a vote. And when you change the culture and make people actually work, then things get weird, and they have a revolt. So essentially, there was a revolt.
So you went in all whole first sergeant, let's get to work, and they're like, no, we don't really do that around here.
Can somebody tell this dude that
it's break
we ain't
times.
doing this?
No.
Can I go on break? Or
Who the hell are you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mission focus and dedication to duty, all that.
But
shit.
that's part of my point.
Yeah.
And you learned that in the military for 20 years. I mean, you don't do what you did. You don't become a first sergeant doing what you did and not have that mentality.
Civilians, and there's not a hit against them, but it's just a culture. When I say let's have a meeting at 7:30, I mean 7:30. We're starting with the meeting. I'm not waiting on you to sit down with your coffee, or for you to find a packet of slides so you can get caught up. I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
In the civilian world, it's 7:33, easing on in, and
it's a culture shock.
Yeah,
it's a culture shock to join. It's a culture shock to get out.
Sure. So that didn't work.
Oh,
that didn't work.
How long did that last?
That lasted probably about from May to October.
From May to October.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not.
Yeah.
I've had jobs last less.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, May to October, and I'm not even mad because I love what I do now.
But another thing, the benefit of the retirement. I mean, you got a check coming in. You earned it. You're retired.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Sure.
you're not. I'm not saying you're not worried about employment, but if you have to take a month or two off, you can weather the storm.
Right.
Yeah. I know some veterans now that I talk to. I mean, you can't take a month or two off.
Well, I didn't know disability was a thing.
Neither did I.
Yeah, it was. I literally went, and they were like, "Yeah, man." Ugh.
I've never. I tell some veterans they get mad. I've never once been to the VA. Not once.
Well,
is that bad?
Poke yourself in the eye.
No,
You should totally go because you don't know what's wrong with you. I got told basically when you're probably around 60 years old, you're going to walk into a room if you're walking and not know why you're there. There's so much stuff that has happened that you took for granted because we all were told to be Hooah and shut up and get up and do it. That you should see what your knees look like on their x-ray. You should see what your back looks like. I don't even know what L's, S's, and 5s and shit is, but mine's not right? I didn't even know there was things going on with heart. I didn't know things that, you start telling stories, and they're like, hey, man. You start talking about jumps, and they're just like, yeah. And the scale only goes to 100. If it went to 1,000.
Yeah, maybe up there.
Yeah. Right?
So you're out now. Internship, first job, didn't last. Woo. How'd you find the job you have now? And then did you morph into the job you have now?
Great question. So networking is key. Who you know is key.
100%.
Yes, and they don't tell you that. Army people walk around with that left, right, left asshole thing going on. And you know what happens? You end up by yourself. I think everything that I have now is due to personality. Seriously.
Your personality.
Just not being an asshole. Seriously, being likable, sharing. When you're hungry, tired, and wet, just not normal sharing, right? When there's only one Twix, you can have the left one. You know what I'm saying? Like being that type of person. Those people, when they have openings in their jobs, they will call you and say, you know what? I wouldn't mind working with David. Or in this particular time, Kevin called me and said, hey, I wouldn't mind working with Keith. Why don't you come up to D.C.? And I was like, you know how much you'd have to pay me to get me moved to D.C.?
But you did it.
I haven't been home since.
I guess the money was right.
I get by.
I get by. I see your car you post on Facebook.
Yeah, I get by.
So networking got you that job in DC.
Yes, but it's not just clandestine to me. Like networking gets everybody their jobs. I don't know anybody who's got a job on LinkedIn. I am
the biggest supporter of networking.
I don't know anybody who's got a job because they went to what is it? Any resume.
Well, I mean, here you go. You see everybody in this room?
Right.
Met them all through a friend, networking something.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's about networking.
Yes, that's all it's about in likability. If you're an asshole, you'll be by yourself.
Yeah.
Your people will hate you, and the people will quit. You'll have high turnover. So if you have high turnover where you are, look at yourself in the mirror first and be like, am I an asshole? You know?
So I'm going to throw a question out of left field then. So deployments are kind of calming down now, would you say, or no?
No.
They're not?
No. Deployments are tied to money. Campaigns are tied to money. So you got people just rinse and repeat. Just go on.
But I mean, the op tempo of, call it 06, 07, 08, 10.
All the worthy people are dead.
It's not
all the worthy people are dead. Hey, we were winning when I left. You know, all this other shit. You know, hey,
but it's not
a month.
The deployment schedules now. It's not the same as before. I mean,
it is what it is. Yeah, yes. There are so many idiots around the world doing dumb things. Like there will never be a shortage of deployments. There will always be something to do. And whether there's pirates, whether there's domestic
but
terror.
not the big. Let's send 82nd, 10,000 troops. I mean, is that still happening?
Sure. Yeah. When just like the other day when the Iraqi embassy.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
So where's this thing headed, man? What's the next 10 years look like? What do the next 5 years look like?
Shit, I don't know. I'm a consultant. You got to pay me for that type of information. But
just send me.
No, in all seriousness, I believe that it has to be some type of a drawdown. There's no, we can't afford.
That's where I was going.
We're not building anything, you know.
And
back in the day when America used to produce shit, you know, if we legalized marijuana, and we could have the revenue, you know, to do things like that. But America needs to find their thing again, whether it's automobiles or whatever. But I believe it's in marijuana and hemp because we got some great fields and stuff to grow. That's why everybody who's in that industry is caking up right now. Hell, even Mike Tyson is going on.
That's not going to be America's thing. I mean, Canada's. We're not going to export that.
Of course we could. I've been to Oklahoma. There's all kinds of fields out there. We ain't growing food. You know, get your shit together, America.
You've been watching too much Narcos.
No, I'm serious.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I get it.
I drove from Oklahoma to D.C., and I saw how many fields of just nothing there is. And we have the room. And if there are farmers out there, they're supposed to be growing stuff to grow something or grow some weed.
You still keep in contact with some of the guys that you served with?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And there's a brotherhood there, as you know.
Oh, yeah.
That you can't replace. And I get, you know, every once in a while, at least once a month, I get a long ass email from somebody who I was an asshole to that's now a first sergeant or now
Somebody you made Hooah is now a first sergeant.
and that's
funny.
yeah,
Wow.
or something. Maybe there was another Coop is a pilot now. He flies Apaches.
Wow.
Yeah, anytime there's like a significant emotional event, I get the. Oh, so if you're out there and you want to say thank you, just send me a paragraph. It means the same to me. I really don't want to go through all that shit.
You still keep in contact with that commander?
Shit, yeah. She was just out. Oh, I'm in Phoenix right now. But
You are in Phoenix. You flew in yesterday.
yes.
I picked you up at the airport.
But she was just out here. I was referring to D.C. Like,
Wow.
we still best buds.
Wow.
She's awesome.
That's cool. What's she doing now?
She's went to grad school.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, she's doing her thing. I think she works for one of these airlines or something.
So if you had to give one piece of advice for two age groups, the me's of the world, back when I got out, I was 24, whatever it was. I did 6 years, got out. And then a piece of advice for the 20 guys that did 20 and retired.
Right.
What piece of advice? Because there are different chapters in their life.
For the older, the quick enlistment,
Yeah.
I would tell them to make sure that they are fully aware of the resources that they have when it comes to GI Bills, and when it comes to the Social Transition for Life program, to find out who they are before they get out.
Means who the transition or who they are as a person. You said what do you mean
Right,
by
who
that?
they are and what they want to do.
Like do some soul searching.
Yeah, because while you still have a paycheck to rely on, do your soul searching. Don't wait till you're out.
And you know what? They may not know at that point. Maybe potentially.
Motherfucker, buy a vow or something. Like you
Buy a vow.
Yeah, you got to do something. Figure out what the fuck you want to do. If you don't, and you have to figure that out while the meter's running, where you still have to pay your rent, while you still have car payment, insurance, all that shit.
You have a whole nother pressure on your shoulders.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's for the single people. You know. Second question to answer: what would I tell a 20-year veteran? I had the pleasure of speaking at a buddy's retirement ceremony not too long ago. And I will tell you what I told him in that crowd. Don't get hooked up into the being too Hooah. Don't get hooked. Don't be like Keith Caraway. I got the rank, I got the cars, I got the money, I got the girls and all of this shit. But I trade all that shit away for my real family. Right? Don't go to the finish line without your family. I went to the finish line without my family. And the guy who I did his retirement, he didn't have the rank that I retired with. He didn't have, stuff, resources. But he had his family. And they were all on the front row clapping and happy.
It's a big deal.
And he finished with his family.
Wow.
That's
you're in the, I'm not going to throw a percentage on it, but I'll throw a percentage on it. You're in the top. I mean, you're in the ones that do that. That's not the 80%er. I mean, you're
And we put so much on that bullshit. And what are we talking about? An extra $200 a month?
Because let me tell you something. You'll go through deployments.
Yeah.
If you're lucky, like you said,
Yeah.
10 fingers,
Yeah.
10 toes, you'll come back.
Sure.
And you know what? It's going to be gone. 'Cause
Yes.
You're going to get out.
Yes.
You're going to ETS.
Yep.
You're going to retire. And then
Yep.
guess what? Yeah, I served, past tense. I'm a veteran now.
Yep.
And now you have this whole other life ahead of you.
Right.
And like you said, I'd rather do it with my family.
Right. Oh, it's such a great.
But it's hard. We say that now, hindsight 2020, right? How do you get in that frame of mind when you are doing the back-to-back deployments, Iraq, Afghanistan, Iraq? I mean, it's hard.
Bring your family with you.
To Iraq and Afghanistan?
No, not to Iraq and Afghanistan, but there's decisions along the way where you could have sat out this one. You could have went to that dance recital. You could have picked that guy up from school. You could. There's opportunities to be a better father, better husband, better everything. And I'm just speaking for me, where I took that opportunity to serve the Army. And what'll happen is you'll get that rank. You'll get those bronze stars. Hell, I got 3. MSMs. I got 3 of those too. I can't wipe my ass with those things right now. You know what I look forward to now? Seeing my son call me on my phone. And hope to God he's not mad at me for all the things that I've missed and stuff like that. So don't be like me.
Don't be whole like Keith.
Don't be.
Well, like you said, that's the cost.
That is the cost.
Family's the cost, physical.
If you want to be Keith Caraway,
mental.
yeah.
Wow.
I'm a mess.
So how are you mentally these days? Don't lie, Keith. Don't lie.
Like I just said, I'm a mess. You know, I got everything. The guilts,
Yeah.
you name it. I'll be apologizing to the day I die to people. You know, I'll explain to my children why I'm disconnected or I don't know their favorite color. I didn't know my kid's dog's name was yesterday.
You know, we're doing a show. You say disconnected. We're doing a show, and dare I say, this guy's an expert. He's going to be on in 2 days from now, and he talks about what's called that empathy link.
Yeah.
And when you're deployed, you have to disengage. You have to mentally disengage.
Mine doesn't come back. I'm like the Witcher. Remember the Witcher? He can walk. He doesn't feel emotion. Like there's a whole lot of shit where I wish I could be sad for you right now, but I don't give a fuck. Right?
And that is another. I'm the same way.
Yeah.
To a certain extent, I'm the same way. And that's a byproduct again of this kind of, you know, there's a subculture in America of veterans. Like you look at different businesses, different nonprofits, the way we speak. There's been an entire subculture created.
Sure.
I'm calling it, and I say the post 9/11 era veteran. We joined pre 9/11.
Yes. I hate when people say the post 9/11. Like
Yeah.
I joined for
no. We joined pre, but it's a thing. You hear like World War II era veteran, Vietnam era veteran. I mean, we are it's getting labeled. We are the post 9/11 era veteran. And there is the ability to disconnect mentally.
I got it bad though.
I hear you.
Yeah.
It affects your relationships.
It does. I can't get stable. I can't be next to anything. My longest relationship is probably with this bottle of water I got.
That's pretty long.
Yeah. And it's over. As soon as we're done, it's over.
You're gonna throw it away and walk out.
We're done.
Is there a cure? Or is there a way
therapy, man. I started back going since I've been out, and it starts with a lot of healing. Like you got to forgive yourself for being a bad, or I'm talking about Keith Caraway. You got to forgive yourself for being a bad dad, a bad husband, and then own it, and then fucking let that shit go, and then start working on building strong relationships. And it's hard and it's gooey and nasty. But it is what it is.
And I don't mean to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
It seems like we're also good at putting on a front.
Oh yeah.
Like you could show up to work with a smile. I could show up to my office. I could put a smile on my face. Yeah. You know, I could drive down the street. You could do what I got a son. I could pick him up and hold him, and that's it. You can put on this front.
No.
And it's not. You're not bad 24/7. I'm not trying to. And like we're not trying to sound like every veteran is just fucked up.
I'm saying every veteran is just fucked up. Let's be real.
I don't think
everybody has their struggle.
They do.
It could be as short as running back in the store because you think your weapon you left in the basket.
Oh, dude. When I got out of the military,
see,
I would change lanes under underpasses.
Right.
You know, you drive. There's a way you drive, and I would not drive on the side of the road. I would drive in the middle of the road.
Right.
Dude, one time.
That's my point. We're all fucked up.
You're fucked up a little bit.
Yeah. And whether it's something slight like that or not, you need to go home and beat the hell out of everything you own. There's degrees.
There's degrees.
Or do you have to drink till you can't fucking see anymore? Or do you have to do drugs till you can't fucking see anymore? Or do you have to blow your fucking brains out?
So do you think the mental health resources, obviously, and we talked about this half an hour ago, 2006, quote unquote, let's say there was not a lot. 14, 15 years later, would you say there's a lot now? Would you say
there is, but that's not gonna. I remember thinking about suicide once, and I remember hearing seeing a keychain. Fuck that keychain. I wanted the 8 people that I called to talk to answer the fucking phone. If you want to stop fucking suicide, answer the fucking phone. Seriously, I just didn't do it.
You didn't answer the phone, or you didn't call?
I didn't kill myself.
Well, that's a good thing. Thank you.
Right?
We appreciate that. Your kids appreciate that too.
Everybody probably does, but I didn't give it. You wouldn't feel it. We didn't give a shit. We don't give a shit. We don't have that feeling where we'd feel bad for someone. We get tired, and you would kill yourself. Mm-hmm. You would. You just wouldn't give a fuck. You're like, today's the day.
We all know the stat. It's a big. It's a big problem.
But we just need to be better people for each other.
Let me ask you this, because I'll tell you
That's how we cure suicide, actually. Answering the fucking phone. When everybody can stop suicide between the hours of 9 and 5 and not during dinner or at night or on the weekend. But when someone calls you to reach out, answer the fucking phone.
Talk to them.
Sorry. Maybe that's just
Note to self, answer the phone. I get it. I lost my train of thought. when you were on the answer the phone thing?
It's such a big deal to me.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't know, they do now, but that is such a big deal. And there's so many times where I felt hopeless, and I know that other people feel hopeless.
They do.
I got resources, so I can just imagine the guy who doesn't. Right?
I see. I've been mentoring, and mentoring is a strong word, but I've been talking to veterans here in Phoenix for fun, taking them out to dinner, going to happy hour. I mean, I hear stories, and they do feel hopeless.
Yeah.
But there's one thing that I say in response to that. A lot of them that feel hopeless haven't latched on to anything yet. They haven't found the what's next. I feel I'm lucky enough to have found my what's next. I got out in 2006. In 2008 or 2009, I fell into entrepreneurship. I found a mentor. His name is Robert Stevens. Mm-hmm. Haven't talked to him in years. Great gentleman. He opened my eyes to, hey, you could be an entrepreneur. I'm like, what the fuck is that? But I think I want to be one. Right. Just like you want to be Hooah, right?
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good to me. I want to be an entrepreneur. What does that mean? And then I latched on to entrepreneurship, and I consider myself a full-blown entrepreneur, have been for 12 years. But my point is, I latched on to something. Yeah. I found my what's next. Do you think that's got...
Of course. I still got motherfuckers I need to prove wrong.
I'm not done yet.
I'm not done yet.
Yeah. But you seem to have found a what's next.
Yeah. But it took me getting off my pity party, right? Yeah. I could be an asshole and have them put my kids in, and I have people that count on me. And that was my decision to shake it off and get back in the game.
But people.
Yeah, I latched on to shit, man.
Yeah, but here's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The little stand-up comic in you that people may not know about.
Yeah,
you have hobbies. You have talent. You be doing stuff.
Yeah, I do stuff.
Tell me about that.
Oh, I love comedy. It was my dirty little secret while I was in because, and I almost got caught up one time.
Uh-oh.
I was a first sergeant. I was performing. And what sucks about...
As a first sergeant, you were performing.
Yes, I was performing comedy.
At a comedy club, off base. Somewhere.
Yeah, so I was a regular at this place called the Sampan in the Low, which is Lacey Olympia, Washington. And I used to... It created such buzz that people would come from the post.
Oh.
So this one particular day, I had half my damn unit in the crowd, and it was so weird. When I looked out there, I was like...
Were you nervous?
Oi! No. I loved it. Like, I feed off that shit. So I started picking on them. And so I made a joke about this lady who was a captain.
Shit.
So the story is, I tell a joke about getting pegged. If you don't know what getting pegged is, don't look it out. But I tell a story about getting pegged. And I call the lady's name. And I was like, I can't remember what it was. I think it was, Gretchen, which is the lady's name. And
the captain.
Right. And the funny part about that was everybody laughed. The place erupted. And I'm like, so funny, right? Didn't think anything of it.
Uh-oh.
And then the next day at work.
So you knew it wasn't just some captain. She was in your unit?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay.
So next day at work, the boss, squadron commander, hears about this joke.
Oh.
And he goes, does this mean that I have senior leaders speaking inappropriately at night? And he called me in the office.
Oh, shit.
And I said, oh, sir, don't worry about it. Hey, maybe. I didn't know we couldn't. I'm not going to do it anymore. I don't even want you to worry at all. At no point will I ever do comedy again. This is way bigger than this. I said, Keith Caraway will never do another joke as a first sergeant.
Oh.
But that night, Reef Fairway performed for 2 hours. Yeah. So I changed my name to Reef Fairway. It's almost like a speakeasy. So, hey, don't tell the boss. No shit.
Did he put that? That's
and he never found out. Well, he knows now.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
So I secretly did comedy for a year as a first sergeant.
Where do you get your material for? I see on Facebook sometimes you write, you're writing stuff out, you're testing. It just comes to you. You're just creative like that.
So I'm a slice of life comic. I'm not a setup punchline joke comic. I'm a storyteller. We're gonna laugh about what I saw, what shit happened to me, and I'm always there at ground zero for some grade A bullshit. I am.
But you go up on with a set in your head. I mean,
Yes.
This is what. Yeah, right.
Yeah. So if you look at my phone right now, anytime I have something, I'll write it and I'll keep it in my joke or in my notes. And what I'll do is when I'm doing a set, I'm a bullet point talker. So when I look over to the side, it'll just say like crack house carpet, and I'll tell the crack house carpet joke. It'll be written on a piece of paper.
Gotcha.
So
I'll
I'll tell the story of that.
You have to practice that, obviously.
Sure. Rehearse.
Yeah. So tell me also a little bit about your Hollywood career.
No, or lack thereof. Thank you, coronavirus.
You were supposed to be in L.A. yesterday.
Yeah. Shout out to Kevin Watts. He's a producer out there.
Filming a sitcom, is it?
We can't talk about his projects.
We're not going to talk
We're not
about
going to talk, but shout out to him. I appreciate him for having me on his project.
You excited about that, though?
Yeah. Whenever we stop having coronas, then I'll go back out there and shoot my stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
So to wrap this up, the cost of being Hooah. What it did 20 years to you, but you don't regret it.
No, I don't regret it.
You don't regret anything of it.
And if anybody could take anything from this, it's make better choices along the way so you can finish with your family and find the resources before you get out, fix the roof before it starts raining, folks. I think that's the key.
Fix the roof before it starts raining.
Yeah.
Finish with your family.
Yeah.
If so many more people could finish it with their family, I'd be happy.
You wouldn't blow your brains out if you had your kids with you.
I agree.
Pussy and kids is like every time I hear people blow them shit, or you hear, hey, what happened to him? Everybody knew. Oh yeah, he's having a rough time with his kids, or his old lady done left him.
Yeah.
It's the relationship things. And you didn't answer the phone.
Yeah.
Answer the fucking phone.
Answer the phone. Give me a call. I'll answer. Keith will answer.
Yeah.
Come. Hey Keith, thanks, man.
I appreciate you.
Appreciate you coming out.
You.
Thank you.
Oh man. And you can keep the scarf. You look sexy in it, man.
He gave me the scarf right before. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.